Hi everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. Today we're at Morgan Buick GMC to take a look at this 2022 GMC Sierra 1500. This is the AT4. It is the Carbon Pro. This is the limited version, and if you're not familiar with what that means, limited means you won't find that 13.2-inch touchscreen. You won't find all the changes that are now available on these trucks, but that might be good because some of you might say, well, maybe that's not what you want. And with the Carbon Pro, you're going to find some changes here on this model. So let's take a quick look at exactly what we have in the event this is something you want to buy. Make sure to come in and talk to Wesley Swayze here at the dealership if you want to buy this truck. So we'll start out here. We've obviously got the LED headlights, LED fog lights down there, and then part of that Carbon Pro package is going to have to do with what you see with the grille, with the overall look of the grille. That's the carbon grille. It's going to have kind of a gray finish to it instead of chrome. So those are going to be the biggest differences. You'll also see that around the the fog light bezels down there on the lower portion of the bumper. And you will also notice those red tow hooks on there for when you need to tow or pull out of the mud. Those Fords, the Rams, the Toyotas, and the Nissans, because you know they're not going to be pulling you out, right? And you also have the carbon wheels right here. Part of this package of the Carbon Pro package, the 20-inch wheels. You have 265/60 tires surrounding those. These are the Goodyear off-road tires. So if you're looking at doing some off-roading, that's going to be useful for you. You can also see some of the lighting here on this truck. The turn signal indicators built in here, and also some of the lighting. There is lighting all around this truck. So if you're out doing something after dark or early in the morning when it's still dark, that's going to be real helpful. And you'll also notice right here with the side step that has the graphite on it, kind of almost like a grip tape material that you would find on a skateboard. That way, when the bottom of your shoes or your boots or whatever you're wearing are wet, you're still not going to have any trouble being sure-footed on here when you're hopping into this truck. And one of the good things about that is that this truck has a 2-inch lift. So having those side steps on there will most certainly be beneficial. And let's go take a look here real quick. You might be wondering, are these power folding side view mirrors? And the answer to that question, well, we just answered it right there. Absolutely yes. And what I did was I pushed this button right here. We'll try and give you a 2-for-1, so to speak, there, so you can see it all in action. And then we also have passive entry, which is going to be this button right here. It's not only on the front doors, it's also on the rear. And for you parents that might have child safety seats here in the rear seat area, the benefit to that is that you can unlock all 4 doors from the rear. If you want to turn that off, you can within the infotainment screen, or if it's not working, you can go in there and turn that feature on. And with that 2-inch lift, I'll tell you what, one of the great benefits here when you open the hood is going to be the hydraulic struts. I always like to see that. I'm surprised that there are still some vehicles out there that don't have that feature. And why is that such a benefit? When you open the hood on a truck like this, it's this high off the ground, you don't have to go looking for the strut to manually put in place and hold the hood up. Here under the hood is the 6.2-liter V8. Now, tell me in the comments what you prefer, the 6.2-liter V8 or the 5.3. In this case, we're looking at 420 horsepower and 460 foot-pounds of torque mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. The big question, especially right now, MPGs. 13 city, 17 out on the highway, 14 combined. And according to GMC, for every 100 miles you drive, this truck should use 7.1 gallons of gas. And a quick look at the remote. And down there in the bottom left-hand corner, a lot of you say it's your favorite feature on the remote start right there. And the interesting thing is that I was all the way, let's see if I can show you, coming down that landing in front of that Yukon up there, and I was able to start the truck from way up there. So you can actually do that from a pretty good ways off. Very bold look here on the rear. And one thing I really like about these trucks is the fact that you can have really good footing right here with the bumper step. It used to come to about right here until the 2019 model year, and now it goes in a lot further. It's a lot easier to be sure-footed in there. And you can open this rear tailgate with the remote. Let's talk a little bit about exactly what you have here. This is the Multi-Pro tailgate and the multi-function tailgate, or kind of a multitasker, as I like to say. So right here, you can do so much. You can use this as your dinner table. When you're out on the job site, you can also put your laptop up there. You can put a tripod up there with your phone on it and use that for meetings online, Zoom meetings, all that kind of stuff. And like I said, it's a multitasker. It becomes a bed extender as I have it set up right now. If you have something in the bed that's going to stick out a little bit further and you need to leave this portion of the bed open, you can do that, and that will hold things in place. But that's not all, and I promise this isn't turning into an infomercial. So we're going to go ahead and open the tailgate. Obviously that is a power tailgate. And this is a carbon composite bed, so that's going to actually lighten things up a little bit. It will change the numbers a bit on towing, and I'll show you how to easily know what those numbers are when we get to the right place on the truck. But as you can see, you have quite a few nice tie downs throughout the bed, including those two right there in the front, the GMC logo, and obviously in bed lighting. That's going to be kind of hard to show, but I'm going to hit the button right here and drop everything down. Let's see if I can do that correctly. There we go. Get that down. Now, this is another advantage right here in that you have the step right here, more of that graphite material right there, and you do have a grab handle you can bring up and put in place right here. If your truck is equipped with this option, that's what you're going to have. Makes it so much easier to get in and out. But that's not all. Yes, it's still not an infomercial, I promise. This is the first one I've actually seen that has the speakers built into it. So as you can see, it's pretty easy to figure out what goes on here. You've got the two speakers, you've got the functionality right here for turning everything off and on, changing to different songs and things like that. You also have the light right here. Same thing right here with your connectivity area. So as you can see, you've got a couple of options right there with the USB, and so a lot going on here, but that's not everything. Let me show you a little bit more. It's kind of hard to put this tailgate up one-handed. All right, now that I have the tailgate up, there's one more thing to show right here. Another way to use this extender for the bed. In fact, we'll go around over here so we don't blind you with the sun. But as you can see, there's a second way. Not only that first way I showed you to extend the bed, you can extend the bed length also right here. So really a multitasking bed, very useful, very helpful. Tell me what you think about that. How many of you have this tailgate on your trucks? And there is one more thing I want to tell you about. Now this truck doesn't have it, but the worst thing you could do is open that bed with the step down, that top portion down, and there's a trailer hitch right here. Now this truck doesn't have it, but there is an accessory available that goes in right here, and when you flip its cover open, it actually has a sensor built into it. If it's open, whether there's a trailer hitch in here or not doesn't really matter, but basically what it's doing is sensing that there might be a trailer hitch in here. So what that will do is lock the tailgate. You won't be able to open that area down and accidentally damage it with the trailer hitch that you're using. So essentially, you're going to save some money that way, and honestly, a lot of frustration. And if you're taking all of your buddies to the gym to lift weights, well, there's going to be a lot of space for those large blender bottles for the protein powder for post-workout recovery. They're going to go right there. That's perfect. There's a lot of space in there. Beef jerky, all those protein bars, all that good stuff can go right here. Some of you that want to hide your pack of Skittles or Starbursts, you can also throw those in there and kind of hide them away so nobody sees them. And we have the jet black and Kalahari interior. That's what this color is right here. There is a lot of storage space within here. As you can see right here, you can also lift that other side up over there, and you will find more tools to help change a tire, including what we have right here. So there is a lot going on if I can get that to come down. One thing I'm kind of surprised I haven't seen on more trucks, or even cars for that matter, is the in-seat storage that you'll find on these GMC Sierras. There's quite a bit of space in there. You can put a lot of things in there. Very useful, very helpful. And nobody's gonna go thirsty back here. You've got the two cup holders on the door bends right there. You also have the two cup holders within the armrest. And I'm gonna hop inside here, and then you have two more cup holders right here. Like I said, nobody will go thirsty. And you have the dual air conditioning vents built into the rear of the console right here, connectivity with USB options, and the 12-volt power outlet. Also the map pockets back here. So quite a bit in the way of storage options back here. And there is a lot of space within the back seat of this truck. I'm kind of slouched down a little bit in the seat, acting kind of lazy, even though I'm really not. So let me sit straight up and see how that goes. There we go. Still a lot of space. I would be very comfortable for a long time. And you do have the sunroof here, although it's not panoramic, conventional size, but just so you can see what's there. Moving on to the front seat, the passenger side, you're going to find an even larger door bin. And there's a couple of options here for large bottles or whatever you want to fit in there. A lot of drinks can go in here, snacks, all kinds of good stuff to help out. And then we've got more storage with the upper and lower glove boxes right here. As you can see, quite a bit of space there. Obviously, driver and passenger seats are going to be power. And then we have even more storage space right here. I'm not quite sure what you would put there. Maybe if you're reading a book, your front seat passenger's reading a book, they can stash that away when they get tired of reading if they want to. And a good look at the interior here in the front seat. Heated and ventilated seats, always a bonus, especially this time of year. Glad to see the ventilated seats. You'll also find the AT4 logo here, the GMC logo on these floor mats here. Everything very nice, actually very well done. And let's go ahead and hop on in here real quick. We'll take a look at the center console. The good thing, you have your wireless charging pad right here, but if you're saying to yourself, or you guys are married or have your girlfriend with you or whatever the case is, you might say, well, I'd like to have two of those. Good news. You can get an aftermarket charger that goes right here. There's a 12-volt outlet that it can plug into right back here, and a lot of space and even more connectivity right here within this area. I'll try and show you where the light is in case the camera didn't pick it up as well. You can kind of see it shining on my finger right there. And there is more connectivity right up here, as you can see. You also have the trailer brake control and all that good stuff. There's even a power outlet right here, something we didn't see in the back seat, but then the 12-volt and USBs, and quite a few one-touch buttons here. I probably don't have to tell you what all of those are, although if you find that this outlet right here is not working, well, you might need to push this button. It's that simple, just so you know. And I already gave you a little bit of a look here at the driver's side door. You're going to have that same nice large door bin down there. And one thing that you won't find on the passenger side is going to be the seat memory. Two different settings right there. And then everything for controlling the lights, whether it's headlights and taillights, fog lights, and all of the other lighting all around the truck. I told you there's quite a bit. And then we have our control right here for the driving modes. And there's only two driving modes, but I'll show you what those are. You've got normal and you have off-road, just so that you know what's there. Obviously, a pretty simple to figure out dashboard here, easy to use, but it does have a nice look to it. And you have the 8-inch diagonal touchscreen here. Some people say that's antiquated, but other people I think are going to say, you know, once you own the truck, it really is super simple to use, super simple to figure out. A lot of great features here, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and if you're not familiar with what that is, what that basically means is you turn this infotainment screen basically into your smartphone, because you're going to pair it that way. And then you do have the trailering function right here. There's a lot here. Let's take a look at exactly what you have as far as being able to check things out. You've got a checklist. It gives you your status, as you already saw right there. We don't have anything connected, so kind of hard to demonstrate that portion of it. But as you can see, conventional gooseneck and fifth wheel, you also can store trailers in here depending on how many you use, and then multiple settings. And one thing I did forget to do, let's hop out for just a second here. Remember I told you could figure out what you can tow with this truck. It's very easy to do. Something else I'm really surprised we haven't seen from other truck makers, but the stickers right here tell you how much you can tow depending on the type of trailer you're towing, depending on how many people you have in the truck, depending on what your payload is. It's going to give you all the information here to figure that up. And it's not that hard to use. I'm not going to go through that right now, just because number one, it's easy to do, but number two, it would be a little more time consuming than you probably want in this video. And a little bit of storage above the infotainment screen right here, as you can see. And something else, we have push button start down here, but I know a lot of you don't like to have a shifter right here for a truck, especially push button type shifters, maybe up here on the dashboard. Well, good news. You have the kind of old school of sorts column mounted shifter right here. So I know a lot of you like that based on comments you left in previous videos. And let's not forget, this is going to be the same thing that we're going to see in reverse, but you can take a look at the rear view camera, a nice clear image. And obviously there are options to add multiple cameras onto this truck that aren't here right now, but ultimately that's what you have within the interior. Let's talk a little bit about what it's like to drive this truck by getting out on the road for a test drive. All right, let's get out on the road here for our test drive. And I'll tell you one thing about driving any of these GM trucks, or the GMCs or the Chevrolets with the 6.2 liter under the hood, is you really need to keep an eye on your speed. Being as high off the ground as you are in a truck to begin with, you don't get that sensation of speed that you would when you were lower to the ground. So that contributes to unintentionally driving faster than you might mean to sometimes, and maybe not in some cases, I don't know, but one way or another, I'll tell you what, I am very impressed with the great acceleration. And I realize it's just me in the truck, so that obviously will make a difference. And this truck isn't really meant to be a hot rod or anything like that, but when you step on the pedal, you definitely get a nice earful of the exhaust note from that 6.2 liter V8. I can't get on it too terribly hard in here, plus it's a brand new truck. So we'll be nice, we'll be careful and not do that. But overall, this is a fun truck to drive. And with the rear view camera, you know what's behind you, and there are a lot of additional options for cameras that you can have added to these trucks if you want to. And obviously that's not a problem. But depending on your situation and what you're doing, well, you may or may not need that many more cameras. So a larger truck like this, that kind of thing can sure help in any given situation, especially if you're not used to driving something quite this large. But I tell you what, this is an easy truck to drive overall. It's not as big as it might seem to some people, but obviously being a truck, well, what is the ride quality like? Well, it's not too bad being an on-frame truck. Obviously, you're going to get a bit of a rough ride because you've got something that's made for towing and hauling, so it needs a little bit more beefed up shocks and suspension to be able to handle that kind of thing. But I tell you what, it's most certainly not going to beat you to death. It's not going to beat your passengers to death, although I haven't had the opportunity to ride in the back seat of one of these yet, depending on if I have one of the salesmen from the dealership or my videographer Carrie working with me, which I get a few days a week, couple of days a week. Then I can ride in the back seat, and maybe we'll do that sometime with one of these GMC Sierras in the near future. But overall, I must say I'm very impressed. Acceleration is not a problem. If you've never had that 420 horsepower under your foot, it might be a little bit of an adjustment to get used to how the truck accelerates when you're driving down the road or taking off from a red light, but you'll get used to it. But overall, a very versatile truck, a lot of great features that you don't see on all trucks, not only with that tailgate, that multi-pro tailgate, but with the stickers down there on the inside of the driver's side door. You also have great information to help you out with knowing about towing, payload, and a multitude of variations when it comes to what you can and can't do in different situations. So let's go ahead and head back to the dealership. We'll get this one wrapped up. But I tell you what, if I was looking for a new truck, one of these GMC Sierras would definitely be high on my list. So tell me down in the comments, are you planning to buy a 2022 GMC Sierra Limited? What are your plans? And if you come in here to Morgan Buick GMC, make sure to talk to Wesley and tell him that Tom from Vehicle Visionary sent you. Very good looking truck, to say the very least. If you're going to buy one, do tell me, what colors do you plan to buy? What features? What trim level? Tell me about all that stuff. Gotta say a special thanks to my friends here at the dealership for loaning me this truck for the day, and all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out another of the videos that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.